I threw the gift into the trash before reaching his door. I had spent hours choosing that scarf in his favorite shade of blue, but I couldn't walk in pretending everything was fine. 3 days earlier, I had seen a message on his laptop screen. I wasn't snooping. The notification just appeared when I walked past. It was from someone named Tessa. The words were simple but sharp. Missed you last night. Same place Friday. My chest tightened and breathing became difficult. When Leo came out of the shower, he kissed my cheek and talked about dinner like nothing had happened. I smiled and laughed at his jokes, but inside, my world had cracked. Now I stood outside his building, fingers numb from the cold. Instead of ringing his bell, I walked away quickly. I didn't know where I was going, but I needed to move. If I stopped, I might cry right there on his street. I walked until my feet ached, then sat on a bench near the river. The sky grew dark and cold air touched my skin like a warning. I pulled my coat tight and tried to make sense of everything. Was I overreacting? Maybe Tessa was just a friend, but that message didn't sound friendly. It sounded intimate, like someone who shared time with him that I knew nothing about. We had been together for 11 months. He had met my parents, had keys to my apartment, and promised we would travel together this summer. But there were things he never said. When I asked about past relationships, he simply replied that everything was behind him. When I mentioned living together someday, he smiled but gave no answer. I thought he just needed time. Now I wondered if I had been convenient, someone easy to keep around while he waited for something better. Someone who didn't ask too many questions. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing the message and imagining them together, laughing and holding hands. The next day, I didn't contact him. I waited to see if he would reach out first. He didn't. That silence told me everything. I did something I had never done before. I looked through his old social media posts from before we met. I found pictures of him and Tessa. They had traveled together, attended concerts, celebrated birthdays. Then suddenly she disappeared from his page about a year ago, right when I appeared in his life. My heart sank. Had he just replaced her with me? Was I always his backup plan? 2 days later, he finally messaged, "Haven't seen you in a while. Everything okay?" I stared at those casual words, feeling their emptiness. I replied that we needed to talk. We met at a quiet coffee shop near my apartment. I chose the location because I wanted some control. He looked calm and comfortable while I felt cold inside. I didn't waste time. "I saw a message from Tessa on your screen," I said. His face barely changed. "Oh, she's someone I used to see. We still talk sometimes. It's not serious." I asked if she knew about me. He didn't answer. That silence was my answer. I stood up, my heart heavy, but my mind clear. "I think I already know what I was to you," I said. He didn't stop me or tell me I was wrong. He just watched as I left. That night I cried. but not for him. I cried for the version of myself that believed I had been chosen. I cried for all the love and plans I had invested. I cried because I had made room in my life for someone who kept me as a second choice. The days after felt strange. My body moved through daily routines, but something inside had stopped. I deleted his number to prevent myself from reaching out in weak moments. I didn't want to be the girl who waits for someone who had already decided. My friend Emma came over with snacks and simply sat with me. She didn't ask how I was doing because she could see it in my eyes. At one point she said, "You gave your best. That's not something to regret." The next morning I cleaned my apartment, opened the windows, and let fresh air fill the rooms. I wrote in my notebook, "He didn't choose me, and I still have value." I read it 5 times, then filled 2 pages with honest thoughts I had been holding back. Over the following weeks, I kept busy. I signed up for a painting class, something I had wanted to do for months, but never had time for. Or maybe I had given all my time to him. In class, I met others who understood quiet heartbreak. Painting helped me think without getting lost in painful memories. I mixed colors and created something that was mine. One evening, Emma messaged that she had seen a new photo of Leo online. He was with Tessa, holding her hand and smiling. I didn't ask to see it. Instead, I looked at my own reflection and spoke aloud. "You were the backup, but you are not broken." That was the first time I truly believed it. Days later, I received a message from an unknown number. It was him. "Hope you're doing okay. Miss you sometimes." Sometimes. Not always. Just sometimes. That word said everything. I didn't reply. I had my own answers now. I cleaned out the last items that reminded me of him and donated them without looking back. I started sleeping better and making plans again, not with someone else, but with myself. A small trip, more painting, new books. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew I wouldn't live it as anyone's second option. 2 months later, something unexpected happened. An art gallery invited me to display one of my paintings after seeing my work from the class. The night of the show, I wore a simple dress and walked in feeling nervous but proud. My painting hung near the back, titled "Becoming." Several people stopped to look at it. One woman touched her chest and whispered, "It feels like healing." That word stayed with me. Healing, not forgetting or pretending, but growing. Walking home that night, I passed the cafe where Leo and I used to sit. I looked through the window and saw a new couple at our old table. I didn't feel pain. I felt peace. At home, I opened my journal and wrote one final line for that chapter. "He didn't choose me, but I chose to live." Then I turned the page. A new chapter was waiting, and this time I was writing it for myself.